You're third all time in Wake Forest history in sacks with 25 and a half, and second in all time in tackles for a loss with 52. What does that mean to you, just being ranked up there in Wake Forest history? All right, before the video starts, I just want to take a few seconds to thank Jasheen Davis for helping out, taking time out of his day to come on the channel. And I know I'm not in my typical studio room thing. I'm not home at the moment, but we're here editing the video, putting it all together. So just shout out to Jasheen Davis. And hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe. Try and hit 15K by the end of the year. We're almost at 12K right now. So make sure to like the video, subscribe, help support the channel. And yeah, also looking very different, looking a little chopped right now. And yeah, let's dive into the intro and the video. All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. We got a really cool video today. We got Saints rookie defensive end Jasheen Davis on the channel today. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Summer, done with classes for now, but picking back up in a few weeks, getting ready for training camp. How has that been for you, the process of transitioning from college to the NFL, moving and all that? How has that been for you the past few months?
Well, to be honest, it's really been smooth. I'm from the South, so I didn't really have to move too far.
Okay.
I just been here working out, in New Orleans and stuff like that in preparation for training camp. So, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm excited, to be a part of it.
What's been the biggest adjustment or challenge for you, I guess, going from college to the NFL? Is it like the scheduling? You said you're from the South, so maybe not weather. Is it just the practices are a little bit different? What's the biggest transition adjustment been for you?
I'd probably just say like the terminology, like just learning the defensive plays and stuff like that. I feel like, in college playing like a true defensive end, in ways like, I never really had to drop in coverage as much. So, coming to the Saints, and my role switching a little bit, just learning, the terms of the defense and stuff like that in order to, be the best player that I can be.
How is that going for you, just learning the terminology of Brandon Staley's defense? Is it kind of similar to what you did in college, or is it a little bit different schematically?
It's a little bit different schematically. I feel like that being in the playbook every single day, just trying to stay on top of it. He's a defensive minds coach, and like he produced a lot of edge players like Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and things like that. So, just studying them and also what made them, like effective in his defense, and just understanding like what certain coverage rules mean, how to relate to certain receivers and things like that. So really just staying in the playbook and just getting it honed down. So when it's time to fly around, it's time to fly around.
How is practice for you in general? Because obviously to this point, you guys haven't been in pads. It's been all OTAs, minicamp, rookie minicamp. There's not a whole bunch of contact. Is it difficult for you guys to really develop and really figure out stuff like that when you can't do contact? Kind of how is practice for you without pads?
I feel like in a way, it's more of like a mental game. It's a mental aspect, just coming in, being a rookie and stuff like that, experiencing, like how the vets operate and things like that. It's more of like just a mental game. Obviously it's still fast. And, the physicality wasn't there, during the NFL springtime. But, just going through OTAs and stuff like that, just learning, how to be coached at this level. Learning, the tools and the resources in order, to become the best player that I can be at this level. So I feel like, around this time now, it's really just prepping the mind, prepping your body, for what the season, is to come. So like I said, I'm just excited, to be a part of this organization.
When you mentioned like kind of learning from the vets and stuff, have you picked anything up from guys like Carl Granderson, Chase Young, Cam Jordan? Have you kind of learned a few things here and there from the veterans on the defensive side?
Really, yes, just like pass rushing tools and things like that. They're vets in the league and stuff, so they have a lot of game experience. Just coming in and just watching them work and how they, are attentive to detail with their hands, with their footwork and things like that. So just trying to add that to my game. Just to create my own version of like of what I can be. So yeah, just studying them and like just being behind them and just asking them for like resources and things like that and tools and just to become the best player or the best version of myself. Really the main thing. Like I said, I'm just blessed to be in in this situation where I can have guys like that, to look up to, that I watched, on TV growing up and things like that. And just not being here, it really is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I was just glad to be here.
Yeah, excited to see you on the field too. Coming up training camp, preseason, excited to see you out there, see what you can bring. Looked at your college tape, posted some of the highlights. You look pretty good out there. I'm excited to see what you can do.
Appreciate it.
What's your experience been with Bo Davis? Because he's a new defensive line coach, and I think there's like edge rusher and defensive tackle coaches. So what's your experience been with Bo Davis, new guy in the building, coaching wise?
He's a pretty cool guy. So my actual position coach, his name is Jay Rogers. He came from the Falcons last year.
Okay.
Being around, them both, I feel like that they're both, strong mindset people. I feel like they, they love what they do. And, being in the front line in general, whether it's edge or interior or like true end, like we really like the, the foundation of the defense. So really just, being coachable and just listening to them because, they have years of experience in this league coaching and they coach the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? So just, really just being a student of the game is the main thing. And I'm just excited, for when training camp comes around and, just to get better every day.
Your role in the defense so far, I know sometimes they move guys around. Like sometimes they'll have guys playing on the edge. Sometimes they'll have them playing inside and tackle if they're flexible. Where have they been having you kind of at so far? Is it mainly on the edge or kind of moving around a little bit?
Yes, sir. So mainly just on the edge right
Okay.
now. Like I said, being in college, I kind of had a glimpse of playing edge a little bit, but mainly I play like a true end. So just being at this level now, it's a difference. But at the same time, just trying to stay on top of the playbook because like being in the NFL, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but it's also a job, and you got to do your job. So just really just being out there. Once I know the playbook, getting it down, pack and stuff like that, just go out there, and, just fly around because I feel like it's more of an instinctual game, especially playing edge. So just trying to learn the playbook so I can trust my instincts when it's time to fly around.
Obviously, practice, even to this point, it's no contact, but even if there was pads, quarterback wise, you can't hit them and stuff. But there is a quarterback competition going on. Have you seen anything from like Rattler or Shuck to this point, from your perspective, like that you're excited about, ready to see them in action, that kind of thing?
Well, to be honest, I feel like that they all look good. Just being in the 7-on-7 periods. I feel like that they got their timing down packed with the receivers. So I feel like that they both have a good touch on the ball. I feel like that that they're also both instinctual. Playing at a high Division I football school like Louisville and stuff like that. Tyler having experience. Years of experience and stuff like that. Playing at a high level. And also Spencer. I feel like that they're both students of the game, and I'm just pretty excited to see how that plays out.
Did you play any of them in college?
Nah, I never got a
No.
chance to play on.
Okay. What about, okay, so you mentioned 7-on-7s. I know a little bit Brandon Staley's been having like the edge rushers and ends kind of in coverage a little bit. Is that something you've been doing a little bit? I know they had like Chase Young in coverage on some plays and 7-on-7s, and is that something you're still picking up a little bit?
Right. So, part of his defense, is to really just junk up the front end ways. Sometimes, we have to be out there, help out, in space. So just doing 7-on-7 kind of allows for us, to get a feel of that. And, I feel like that to be honest, I feel like it's pretty fun, just to be out there in space, be able to catch a pick, hopefully, it's things like that. But, main thing, is to really rush the quarterback and stuff like that. But, I feel like it's a good switch up. I love the game of football, and I feel like, really it exposes that, aspect of, the game. Because, a lot of people, they like to be put their hand in the dirt, get out to the quarterback. And, I believe, that's a good reason because I like to do that as well. But also, just dropping the coverage and stuff like that, relating to receivers, just being out there really having fun, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty excited, just to get into training camp, and be around the guys and stuff like that, and just to really learn from each other and get better each and every single day.
Have you gotten close to getting a pick in coverage?
A little bit, but I just gotta trust my instincts, you know what I'm saying? So like this is really my first time, doing it really in like nuances and stuff like that. So really just, honing in on the playbook. So, when that time comes, I can take advantage of the opportunity.
I want to see you get a pick in the preseason. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. What stood out to you about Kellen Moore so far, in your first transition camp and all that for the NFL, first time head coach, youngest head coach? What stood out about Kellen Moore so far?
Well, I feel like, he's one of the guys. I feel like that, this past spring season, We did a lot of team events like paintballing and stuff like that, community service and things like that. So really just, hosting those events just to get us around each other, to build team camaraderie. Because I feel like that at the end of the day, the best teams are the closest teams, and I feel like that he's trying to instill that mindset of like just brotherhood and stuff like that. So coming from Wake, my coach, Coach Clausen, he would instill that same mindset like brotherhood, close knit community, the camaraderie. So I feel like that he's instilling that same mindset, and I'm just the sky's the limit. I'm excited.
Who was the best paintball player out there? Was it you?
That was my first time really paintballing, so
First time?
I did have fun for real, but it did get pretty competitive.
Did your who is the winning team? I've seen some comments of like different. Everyone thinks their team won.
In a way, every team did win, but I guess really statistically speaking, I think it was the red team or something like that.
The
I
red
forgot
team.
in a little minute, but yeah, my team wasn't the one that won. So
Uh, going back a little bit to April, May, when you, why did you end up signing with the Saints? What about the Saints intrigued you to go there and want to play for the Saints?
Well, I just feel like, the Saints is still within the South, and I feel like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I feel like that, I'm from the state of Georgia, so, I grew up a big Falcons fan and stuff like that. So,
Oh,
being on the other side, I feel like that, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love being in the city of New Orleans. They show love. I like just the atmosphere in general. And I just like, I just love this. Oh, I love the Saints, to be honest, and I just feel like that, coming here, it just allowed for me to, just to still be within the region, but also, just learn from guys like Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Chase Young, guys like that had experience in the league. And so, just I feel like also that, that I have an opportunity, just to make a name for myself. And I just feel like that, the Saints are really just a team that I couldn't really pass up on.
yeah, there's a good opportunity there. Outside of I mean, there's a lot of competition going on behind Granderson, Young, and Jordan. Like, there's some question marks, some guys who we want to see pop out. So, like, there's a big opportunity for you there. Did you meet with the Saints quite a bit during the pre-draft process?
I met with them once. And I
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we had like an in-depth conversation and everything. And like, from that conversation, I like them, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that, yes, being here, it just allows for me to have an opportunity just to make a name for myself, and at the same time, we have good guys all around, you know what I'm saying? So it's just really just, just competing and also, just being like a teammate. You know what I'm saying? It's the main thing. And like I said, I'm just training camps around the corner, and I'm just ready to, just to get back around the guys and stuff like that. So, we just compete. And I feel like, iron sharpens iron, and that's the main thing.
I asked Jonas Anker this a week or two ago during his pre-draft process. Did he get asked any weird questions? Did you get asked anything weird during these draft interviews?
Not really. I feel like everybody was straightforward, what they wanted and stuff like that, or like, what they seen out of me. I feel like that, a lot of teams liked what I had to offer, on the field and stuff like that. And, they also thought I was a good person and everything. So I just feel like, just being a good human, it's the most important thing. And yeah, the pre-draft process, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity and everything. And, I wouldn't take it. Like if I was to go back and do it again, even though it was taxing, what I'm saying, on the mind, like I'll still go back because, it's like I said, it's an opportunity in a lifetime. So really just, just enjoy it day by day, enjoying the fruits of the labor.
You're third all time in Wake Forest history in sacks with 25 and a half, and second in all time in tackles for a loss with 52. What does that mean to you, just being ranked up there in Wake Forest history?
It's a blessing, because like when I first came in, I was just a freshman, just trying to make a point, prove myself, and like when I got the opportunity, I just tried to make the most out of it. And before you know it, now I'm in the NFL. And I feel like, that I left my mark on Wake Forest. I'm forever grateful for Wake Forest, just for allowing me the opportunity, to showcase my talent and also get an education from there. I feel like that, it's the best of both worlds, and just, solidifying myself as like, one of the all-time Wake Forest greats and stuff like that. It's really a blessing, and I can't really, it's hard to explain, but I'm just thankful, just to be able to, just to be amongst the greats at Wake.
Yeah, those numbers are crazy. 52 tackles for a loss and 25 and a half sacks. Really, really good numbers. I'm pretty sure you saw it with everyone else last week or this past week. The Saints dropped some new white helmets. What do you think of them?
Man, I think they cold, man. I think they cold. Just being able to, I don't know, just to see them for the first time, like, cause I went to my school, we didn't have white helmets and stuff like that. So I feel like even if Wake would have did something like that, it probably would look similar and it would look nice. But I feel like just seeing those helmets and stuff like that, and I think it's pretty cool, especially with the jerseys and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. Nice look, combos that you can throw with the helmet and stuff like that. So give it a little razzle dazzle.
Did you know about did you know what they looked like before social media, the team posted them?
To be honest, I didn't.
You didn't?
To be
Okay.
honest, I didn't even know that we were getting new helmets. So it was, yeah, it was a pretty big shocker to me. But I like them. I love them helmets. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I heard too, or someone reported that the Saints might be getting a new jersey at some point too, so that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if you know anything about that, but I think a gold jersey will look pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, I gotta ask you this too. Kind of goes hand in hand with the jersey and stuff. You're number 59, right?
yeah.
So how does that process work for rookies coming in? Do they just give you a random number and that's what you got, or is it like they give you like a select few and then you get to pick it out? What's the process behind like just picking out your jersey number?
I'm not sure. To be honest, when it came to me, like I was just handed 59 or whatever. So
Okay.
I feel like it's a good number for me. I mean, like you got to make the most out of it for real. So that's what I'm excited for. Just to showcase myself and just to make a name for myself.
Coming up training camp, a week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever. What have you been doing during this dead period, just preparing for training camp, getting ready, while also maintaining a balance of personal time and moving and family time and all that stuff?
Really just trying to get accustomed to this heat, from Louisiana, so it really gets hot down here. I'm from Georgia, like I said, so I kind of got a glimpse of it already. But yeah, there's different type of heat out here. So, just really just exposing myself to the heat and staying hydrated. I feel like are the two main things. And also, just working out and stuff, trying to stay in shape. Just being in the playbook and stuff like that. So, like I said, when camp rolls around, everything's gonna happen fast paced, and they really just not really play catch up, but just be out there knowing what I'm doing and stuff like that, and also stay hydrated. So that's what I've really been doing, these past month and a half and stuff like that, just in preparation for camp.
Do you have any games circled on the schedule that you're looking forward to, like playing an old teammate or one of your buddies from Wake Forest or someone like the Falcons? Since you said you grew up a Falcons fan, is there a certain game you have in mind that you're looking forward to?
Really, all of them. Being in my rookie season and stuff like that. Just a once in a lifetime opportunity. But yeah, the Falcons is one of the teams that I really am excited to play against. Being from the city and stuff like that. So I grew up. I know how intense this rivalry is. So just being on the same side of the rivalry, and actually being able to contribute and stuff like that. It's just something that I look forward to, and I'm just waiting for that time. But yeah, in terms of like the teams that I'm excited to play for or play against this season, I'm really excited to play against all of them because
Mhm.
Bill, I'm just it's still surreal, but at the end of the day, now they made it, so now just trying to maintain. That's the main goal.
For sure, for sure. I had another question. It just popped out of my head, so I'll see if I remember that. Do you have a top five defensive ends or edge rushers in the NFL now or NFL history who you like looked up to growing up and all that?
Not really. I just I love the game of football. So, I say a couple guys that I know that's been balling for real. Max Crosby. Who else? A sleeper is even Trayvon Walker. Uh,
Trayvon Walker. Oh, he got drafted to Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, number one.
Jackson.
Yeah, so he was pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? So just looking at guys like them, even on our team, Carl Granderson, Chase Young, even Cam, Big Cam, he been in the league 15 years. So, he done made a name for himself, you know what I'm saying? And really, I just been invested in, just my team. And then, just like the starters on my team and stuff like that, just trying to, see how they got or see what they did to get to their position. So, just try to compete. So that's really just the main thing. I feel like that the best guys in the league, are just the guys that just love to compete. And that's just the name of the game, just competing.
When it comes to competing, special teams, is that something you did a little bit of in college? Is it something they're having you do right now throughout a mini camp and OTA so far? I don't know if that's something that you're familiar with.
Yeah, special teams. I did a little bit of college, but this is like my first time actually, truly doing real special teams. But like I said, special teams is really like, like people like to, push it off to the side, O and D, but nah, special teams, is really where it's at. Just the name of the game of special teams is really just competing. And like you could really, win or lose games on special teams. It depends on, like if it's punt, if the punter pins the ball down, what I'm saying, things like that. So it's all like, small margins of the game. And I feel like, just staying on top of special teams, is something that, that I'm really excited to do because like I said, the name of the game is to compete. And I feel like, special teams is especially is one of the ways that that you can earn a spot on the team. So really just, going in and just being the best version of myself and just knowing, my keys and things like that, is just something that, that I'm trying to utilize in order to, to be the best version of myself.
The special teams is always fun. I love watching special teams units. As you see, got the JT gray jersey. Love watching special teams. You got any goals for the upcoming season? I know you've mentioned like you're just happy for the opportunity. It's surreal, but you got any goals? Just looking forward to your rookie year.
Yeah, so just to find a way to contribute on the team, whether it's on special teams, ORD, scout team, anything, that just allows for me to, just to be a part of the team. I feel like that, this year, being my rookie year, I have expectations, but I feel like, the main thing is just, just to solidify myself as a Saint, So that I feel like that's my biggest goal. But yeah, I feel like that, yeah, my main goal, is just to find a way to contribute on the team. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, that's everything I got for you. Is there anything that you want to let the fan base know, or any last things you want to mention before get you out of here?
Nah, I feel like I'm just thankful to to be in the city of New Orleans. I could feel the hospitality here, even though it's hot. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's still a great city to be in, and I'm just excited for the opportunity to be a Saint and just daily deposits every single day.
For sure. I appreciate you hopping on, man. If you need anything like photos, videos, clips, hit me up. I always help guys finding stuff like game clips, photos, whatever. So if you need anything or anything else, just DM me and I'll get back to you for sure and help you out wherever I can. Yeah, that's all I got. So thank you again, taking time out of your day, hopping on here. And I hope you have a good week and good training camp. Good luck at training camp.
You too. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
All right.